What's up, guys? I'm finally getting around to making my review video on the Kontrol Freeks. This is basically more specifically geared towards my gaming viewership, my gaming audience. You can see here I have 3 different models, and I feel that in terms of the Kontrol Freeks for first-person shooters, these 3 are kind of like the family for their first-person shooters. Obviously, they have one for driving games, and they also have other colorations of basically the same thing, mostly this one. And they also have, I think, one with like a weird ball on it for fighting games, which I don't understand how that would help, because it's, even if you stuck that onto a controller, you can't make it as large as the regular stick on something like a an actual fighting arcade box style controller. But for first-person shooters, this 3 I think makes up the family. It's a good look into how they work. I believe this one is the original one. I think the original one wasn't in this coloration, but I really like this one. I think this is the Ultra model, so it's all black with the black grip. You can actually see here that these dots have actually worn in because I use this one the most. So from left to right, this is their CQC. This is their original Kontrol Freek, and this is their Sniper. Now, one thing I like about Kontrol Freeks is that the grip is much better than what's on the sticks of a stock Xbox controller. I do play Xbox, I don't play PS3, so I can only have this. Although these do work with PS3 controllers as well as the Xbox controller. But yeah, like I'm saying, the grip on this feels so much better. Like, these dots, I don't feel they do anything, and since it's worn away, I could care less. I don't really think it affected the grip all that much. But compared to this, like the stock sticks, they have very super slick grips. I'm not sure what kind of rubber they used on it, but it's complete garbage. Like, when I'm using the thumbsticks and I actually move over, like, I'm very light with my thumbsticks when I play, and you can actually see that when I like move over to the right, it actually my finger starts sliding off the thumbstick. So that's one nice thing about the Kontrol Freeks, is that it adds a really good grip to it. And this thumb pad portion is also much larger, so it kind of makes the face of the Kontrol Freek much bigger, which, for someone like me who has a pretty fat thumb, it's much more comfortable for me to grip onto. So if you just mainly want the added grip and a larger face, I would suggest using the CQC. Basically, you can see here that it doesn't add all that much thickness to the top of the thumbstick. Well, I guess I might as well explain what they kind of do. I don't really want to go into a lot of detail or anything, but let's just get some paper and a pen, and we'll kind of draw something out. What Kontrol Freeks basically do is they make your thumbstick much taller. So let's say this line here is the top of your controller. Now, if you have, let's say this is your thumbstick like that, that's the regular width. This is regular width. What it does is, at least what I feel it does, is that it makes you more accurate by kind of virtually decreasing the sensitivity of your thumbstick. And to prove it out, we'll do it this way. Let's say you want to go move your thumbstick to a 45-degree angles. I'm not sure if you can do that. Yeah, probably just go 45-degree angle. Why not? We'll just say 45-degree angle. Let's say you want to go a 45-degree angle, right? So 45-degree angle here. What that means is, basically, if anyone's taken trigonometry, you need to move this distance. We'll call this distance y, in order to get to that 45-degree angle. But what happens when you make this side that's adjacent? Well, they're both adjacent to the hypotenuse. Oh my god, I'm getting too scientific with this. But let's say you increase the stick. Let's say you double the length of the joysticks. What happens is, even though you have moved distance y, you actually haven't gone 45 degrees. What happens is you've actually cut it down slightly. So if I go back to this angle here, and this would be your 45-degree angle, you can see how much change in how far the stick actually moves here at this point in the controller has gone. And you can see it decreases it here. It's decreased it like 30%. It's not the most accurate. It's not really the scale. But that's basically what the Kontrol Freeks do. And what I've realized is when I first put them on, I don't even know if that's in focus. Great. Well, there you go. When I first put them on my controller, the turn speed seemed a little slower, and this is the reason why. And what happened is, basically, that allowed me to bump up my sensitivity. When I first started playing Call of Duty, I was playing on a 3 sensitivity, and then eventually I moved to a 4. And I actually stuck on a 4 for quite a long time until I got these Kontrol Freeks. And generally, I know like a lot of people say like the MLG pros and whatnot, and a lot of the big YouTubers, they use lower sensitivities because it allows you to be more accurate. What I feel how it allows you to be more accurate is you can move the stick more and your character will turn less. What that means is you'll have to actually be on target before you aim down sight, because once you aim down sight, you actually turn much slower. But if you can do that, if you get on target before aiming down sight and then you aim down sight, then you can make micro adjustments on the screen while making larger adjustments with your thumb. And that allows you to be more accurate because it gives you more of a buffer zone, so to speak. The advantage of a high sensitivity is it allows you to turn faster. So obviously when you want to check peek corners, or if you want to turn on people, go 180. If someone's shooting on you, you want to react fast enough. Let's say you go 180, you drop and you shoot them. Higher sensitivity helps with that. I feel the Kontrol Freeks kind of gives you the best of both worlds, because the sensors in the controller itself here, they don't know how tall this joystick is. All they see is the movement in this small point here that's inside the controller. So with this increase in length, I can move it, left or right, up and down, and it sees a very small change, in terms of the angle at this point. But if I want to, if I panic, if I have to turn around really quickly on the higher sensitivity, I just swing this. I just basically swing the stick all the way to the left or the right as far as it can go, and I can turn very quickly while maintaining the accuracy with smaller movements here. For those of you who do play on high sensitivity or have tried to play on higher sensitivity, you'll know that it's very difficult to make very far range shots when you have to make micro adjustments on the stick, because this kind of movement might turn you like 90 degrees. Just like that, it will turn you 90 degrees. So, if you're panicking, if your thumb isn't stable, if you haven't been playing for a length of time and you don't really have the muscle memory down, it's very difficult to make those tiny, very tiny accurate movements with your thumb in order to make tiny adjustments with the reticle when you're shooting on screen. So that's what the Kontrol Freeks do. I'm not sure if anyone has ever explained it that way. I do know most reviews are just people saying it's really helped, it's bumped up my KD like 2 times or whatever. But scientifically, mathematically, that's what it's doing. So that's why I said that for people who just want the increase in the thumb pad as well as the better grip to get the CQC, because it doesn't add all that much length to your stick. Like, you'll see basically that's where it'll stick up to. So it does add a little bit, but not so much that it'll affect your muscle memory from what you've already built up. Now, the CQC wasn't around when I first bought the Kontrol Freeks. Basically it was this and their sport ones and whatnot. This is what I got used to, and you can see here that it basically doubles the how tall your joystick sits. So, like I said, there we go. And what I found was that because of how tall it is, it actually made my hand cramp up when I first started using it. It's just because you have to modify your grip. Normally your grip is down here, but now you have to like increase your thumb, so it puts more strain on the muscle of your thumb here, and after long use you do get tired. But I have basically had to modify how I grip my controller. Instead of gripping it tight, it's a very loose grip on my right hand, and I'm just doing fine motions here with the trigger action, and I'm mainly gripping the controller tight with my left hand so the controller doesn't just fall out of my hands. I feel that I probably would have gone with the CQC if it had come out first, but because it didn't, I'm used to this, and this is what I used. I did use this for a few weeks, and while it works okay, like I said, it has the benefit of the better grip and the better thumb pad. I just felt that I couldn't get used to it anymore, and there was no point in me needing to get used to this when I could just use this. And like I said, because it is taller, there is that advantage of being more accurate at a higher sensitivity that this doesn't really have as much of. Now, when the sniper version came out, I was kind of interested. They said it's made for like precision shooters, like snipers and whatnot. Basically, between let me just take this off the controller. You can see it just kind of snaps onto the controller. You do want to be careful. I like to use one of the teeth in first, and then you have pressure dispersed along these two claws, so it doesn't rip up the grip on your controller. But honestly, if you're using it for first-person shooters, you're probably not going to remove it off your controller all that often. But here you can see they're basically the same height. The sniper is slightly higher, but that's because it doesn't have a concave thumb pad. It has a round dome, and that's what makes up the difference in thickness, as you can see here. So for people who are used to PlayStation controllers, which do have the round dome, they might like using the sniper just because it gives you the same dome feeling. I used it, and I don't really like it because there's no dead zone. I know people say they can be more accurate with the PS3 controller because it's dome, because obviously when you move your thumb, the thumbstick moves basically at a 1-to-1. You can consider like a 1-to-1 ratio of moving my thumb this way, and the joystick moves that much as well. For me, I've gotten used to the dead zone of the concave, where if you have a very loose grip on the thumbstick, what happens is you can actually move your thumb, and it's not exactly a 1-to-1 because this isn't rounded off, and because your thumb actually sits inside the thumb pad instead of just sitting on a rounded surface of the thumb pad. So what that meant was, because my fingers are a little shaky, my hands are shaky in general, it was actually kind of difficult to be accurate with this. And it might also be because I've gotten used to just using this Kontrol Freek. I've used this for almost, I guess, a year and a half now. So I've just been used to like the dead zone, so to speak, where basically even if my thumb moves very slightly, there's no movement on the reticle on the controller because the joystick just hasn't moved enough to register inside the sensors. So with this, what happened was, even though I wasn't like trying to aim or do anything, you can see like the reticle just sways ever so slightly. So I can say that yes, you will be more accurate because any movement in your thumb will translate to movement on screen, but that might not necessarily be a good thing. And once you get used to the dead zone with the concave Kontrol Freek, or just concave joysticks on controllers in general, it shouldn't really be an issue. I feel that once you learn to, with any controller, with any of these Kontrol Freeks, once you learn the muscle memory and you really practice at it, you shouldn't have any issues aiming. At that point, it's just a matter of personal preference. In terms of cost, I believe you can get the CQC as well as the original one for $10 easily, and I think the snipers are maybe a few dollars more. Don't quote me on that. You might want to just check Amazon or Kontrol Freek's website directly. I know a bunch of YouTube commentators, they have sponsorships with Kontrol Freek, so you can use one of their discount codes and whatnot and get like 5% off. Me, this is just a straightforward review from me. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I do like it. I definitely, I won't say that, I won't guarantee that your gameplay will become better. This won't make you a better player right away. It won't increase your KD overnight. What it does is it's just kind of a physics aid to help you be a little more accurate, but it still requires your own accuracy. It still requires your own muscle memory in order to get good. It's not a magic talisman that'll just make you a god in Call of Duty. It's just one of those accessories where it's like, why didn't I think of making something like that? It's actually kind of useful, especially for the grip. I can't say that enough. One of the big things that I love about these two is just the bigger surface area for your thumb and the grip. It's just so much better. After using Kontrol Freeks, when I went over to my friend's place and we played a little Xbox when we were having a party, Obviously I didn't bring Kontrol Freaks. I didn't bring my own controller because I wasn't expecting to play Xbox. But I definitely felt the difference in like how slippery this joystick is again. Like most people, I actually only use it on one thumbstick, just because this is where you mostly need accuracy. This thumbstick mainly just click down to run, and then you go forward. So you don't really need the accuracy with this. You don't need the super grip. I have experimented with using the CQC on it, just because, like I said, because it's not that much taller, it won't fatigue my thumb as much because I don't really have to change the grip on this left stick. But it does add a little grip. I don't think it's particularly useful, so I wouldn't suggest that you actually buy 2 sets of Kontrol Freeks to do that. I just happened to try it out because I already had it bought, so I figured, well, might as well not waste the money and try using it. So yeah, if you guys are a gamer, and if you're watching this video, you probably are, I would definitely recommend dropping the $10 down and buying a set of Kontrol Freeks. You don't need to collect them all. They do have several different colorations and limited editions if you're interested. And if you feel that you don't want the extra length on the joystick, if you think that your hands are on the smaller side, I guess for like female gamers, their hands might be a little slender and fingers are a little shorter, then maybe go with the CQC. If you think you get used to the grip and you want the extra length, then you could go with the regular one. If your hands aren't as shaky as mine, the sniper is a good option too. I do like it, and I do wish that my hands weren't as shaky because I feel like the sniper one is a little better because of that 1-to-1 ratio of thumb movement to joystick movement. So yeah. Oh, and also I think there's another company that makes basically like a silicone grip that goes over the thumbstick itself. And what that does is it gives you the same thing where it gives you a better grip and a much wider surface. I didn't buy those. I think they cost around the same too, so I'm probably not going to bother buying them since I already have 3 sets of Kontrol Freeks. But you could definitely check that out. I believe you can get it off of GameStop online store as well as Amazon. I don't exactly remember what it's called, but I'm sure you could just Google it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something about these Kontrol Freeks, and I hope you realize it won't make you a god in Call of Duty overnight. Everything still takes practice and lots of repetition. So yeah, thanks for watching.